Kettlebell marches have been getting a lot of hype for their ability to build epic core strength, but there seems to be some confusion about how they build core strength and how to perform them. And as a kettlebell coach with over a decade of experience, who has also taught exercise science at the college level, I've decided to clear up that confusion in today's video, so you know not only how to correctly perform kettlebell marches, but also how different types of marches provide different core strengthening benefits. So, let's get started. Kettlebell marches have been making waves for two primary reasons. Number one, marches like this look cool, so influencers get a lot of views from them. And two, and much more importantly, they address an extremely important aspect of core strength. That aspect being your ability to resist unwanted movement about the torso, which we refer to as core stability. And for the longest time in the fitness space, when people wanted to address core stability, people mostly did planks and plank variations. And while planks certainly have their place and develop solid core stability as well, kettlebell marches are a much more practical way to do so, because regardless of what position you decide to hold the kettlebell in during a march, you are carrying weight. And if you think about the awkward objects you carry on a day-to-day basis, whether it be packing a car seat, buckets of weeds, or cases of water for that summer barbecue, having the core strength to resist awkwardly leaning through your spine while carrying something makes life easier. Oftentimes I see kettlebell marches being called an ab exercise, which is kind of misleading. While they do work a great amount of core musculature, they don't do a ton to hit the six-pack muscle known as your rectus abdominis. They do something better. They work deep core stabilizers that help support the vertebral column and keep your back safe under heavy loads. Now, kettlebell marches fall into a category of core exercises known as anti-core exercises, and an anti-core exercise is simply a type of core exercise that is intended to resist a certain type of movement so you can keep your spine neutral. And the beauty of kettlebell marches is that different types of marches provide you with different core strengthening benefits, because where you position the kettlebell determines what type of movement about the core you are trying to prevent from happening. For example, a single arm kettlebell march is going to challenge you to resist leaning to the side, which means that your obliques on the side opposite that of the kettlebell will have to work super hard to prevent you from leaning. And when a kettlebell is held at the side as in a suitcase or farmer carry, you also get the added benefit of strengthening your grip. Whereas a goblet march or double kettlebell front rack march will challenge you to resist flexion or rounding of the upper back, which is great for challenging postural muscles in the thoracic spine, as well as the chest and shoulders, which have to work super hard to keep the kettlebell up. Then we have overhead marches, which challenge you to resist arching the lower back and flaring your ribs, which means this carry variation will make you work that six-pack muscle more than the others while improving shoulder stability. And between single kettlebell marches, double kettlebell marches, and having different kettlebell positions to choose from, you will have no problem strengthening every muscle in your core without laying on the floor and getting a rug burn on your ass from another 50 sit-ups. Regardless of which variation you choose though, there are three crucial points of performance you must nail to maximize the benefit of kettlebell marches. Number one, shoulders must remain parallel to the floor on single arm kettlebell carries. If you lean to the side, your obliques are missing out on core stability work. Number two, only lift the marching leg as high as you can without rounding the lower back. If your lower back rounds as you lift your leg, you have a compensation pattern from your lower back and need to keep your leg lower. Remember, the goal of marches is to resist unwanted movement about the core, which means your spine should be neutral. Lastly, when fatigue sets in, it's common for folks to want to slouch or lean back. Any position other than neutral in a kettlebell march leaves strength gains on the table, so really push yourself to not be bullied by the weight of the kettlebell and try to maintain a neutral spine. Now, kettlebell marches are a lot different than traditional core work. Rather than doing high repetition ab circuits that make your core muscles feel like they're on fire, kettlebell carries provide the greatest strength benefit when done heavy for a short period of time. With that in mind, there are several ways to incorporate carries into your training to build serious core strength. One of my favorite ways to incorporate carries, though, is to choose an exercise that ends in the position that I want to begin my march to maximize time under tension. For example, if I wanted to do a double kettlebell front rack march, I might do double kettlebell cleans before them, because cleans end in the front rack position, which means I can go straight into my double kettlebell front rack march. And these seamless transitions make for super time efficient sessions. But it begs the question, how long should you march for? Personally, I find anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds to be a good time frame, with 20 to 30 seconds being most common. But if you want to maximize core strength, I would suggest doing your carries a bit differently. You see, when doing true strength work, we typically want to rest somewhere between 2 and 5 minutes between sets to allow ATP resynthesis to occur so we can be fresh for our next set and produce as much force as possible. So rather than doing your kettlebell carries immediately after another exercise, as in the previous example, I would suggest doing them by themselves to prevent pre-fatiguing your core muscles. So that way you can march with the heaviest weight possible for 15 to 30 seconds and maximize your core strength. There is one crucial precaution we have not addressed with this approach though. If doing your kettlebell carries as a separate part of your workout, be sure to do them after your ballistic kettlebell exercises like kettlebell swings, cleans, and snatches. Reason being, these ballistic exercises require a lot of core stability as well, and if you do super heavy carries before these more explosive exercises, you just won't be as explosive and your fatigued core muscles might not tolerate swinging a kettlebell as well as a result. With that said, which kettlebell carry variation are you most looking forward to trying? Are you leaning more towards a single kettlebell carry variation or a double kettlebell carry variation? Let me know in the comments below. Just keep in mind, while kettlebell marches are amazing for core strength, unfortunately, they only address one of 3 major components of core strength. So if you want a more well-rounded approach to building epic functional core strength with the kettlebell, check out this video here, and I'll see you on the next one.